Yeah, good afternoon, folks. Hope you're well. Say, I'm sharing some interesting experience revolving around a single interest lately. I've been trying to understand why Beverly Hills. Well, I live in Southern California in a city called Glendale. In Los Angeles County. There's about 77 cities in Los Angeles County, and most of them are sort of medium attractive, somewhat attractive, but a couple of cities really stand above the rest, one being Beverly Hills. If you visited Beverly Hills, it's a really beautiful community, and I think a lot of people have heard of Beverly Hills. It maybe is world famous as a place where the rich and famous live. And the beauty of it kind of lives up to its world-class reputation. I visited this week. I just wanted to see if I could understand why it's different from the other cities, what it is that they've done to make it more beautiful. And I was visiting the retail and business districts, not the residential districts as much. I'd like to do that, to walk in the super elite section of Beverly Hills. As a matter of fact, when I visited this week, I did walk in a part of Beverly Hills that is not the super elite, but wow, I thought the homes really looked nice there. But I'm not as good at analyzing that, and I don't know if that's would be as much news. A lot of people, I think, have tried to analyze why the Beverly Hills homes look so nice. But I don't know if people have analyzed as much why the commercial district looks nice. But the things I noticed were that there's a lot of office buildings along Wilshire Boulevard, and for one thing, they're set to the sidewalk and street differently than in most cities. In most cities, the front of the buildings the whole front is parallel to the street and the sidewalk. It's very squarish. It's like the buildings are just big blocks that are set right up parallel to the sidewalk. But in Beverly Hills, a lot of those office buildings are offset to the sidewalk, so that you could look at one front corner of a building and it would be a certain distance from the sidewalk, like 10, 15, 20 feet. But then the building is set at a slant to the sidewalk, and the other front corner of the building might be 15, 20 feet farther from the sidewalk, creating more open space on that side. And it looks interesting. It looks more interesting. Now, I don't know, if they did that in every city, it might become boring. In most cities, they do it in the squarish way, where the whole front is just the exact same distance from the sidewalk. But it really works as a piece of variety, where it's different from the norm. It's a relief to the eyes. And then none of the office buildings are too tall on Wilshire. That's good. When they're too tall, they just seem a little stark. But these buildings are not too tall. And then sometimes they're shaped in interesting ways. They're not just blocks. That might be more obvious to a visitor, that some of them are shaped more interestingly. Then I was also noticing that the parking lots in Beverly Hills, parking is very skillfully concealed. You never see an ugly parking lot with cars in it, and you don't see ugly parking garages. There are some parking garages, but the parking is mostly underground, and the part of the parking garage that faces the street is quite narrow on its frontage. A lot of parking garages, though, extend for half a block or a whole block. But these parking garages might only be as wide as one retail store or two retail stores. So they have a very narrow frontage, and they only might go up a story or two, but there aren't openings that reveal the ugly cars inside and all the concrete. And then there's a driveway that goes down, and probably most of the parking is underground. So that's quite lovely, not to have to look at parking lots and parking garages. Then there's the lack of a freeway running through the city. I have heard that Beverly Hills has fought not to have a freeway run close to the city or through the city, and freeways are kind of ugly looking too, so that makes the city nicer. Now the stores, which are famous especially on Rodeo Drive, I don't know if they're super unique. They're pretty blockish, so the signage is pretty nice. I mean, they're exciting brands like Chanel and Armani and so forth. And they all have big plate glass windows. That's kind of nice. That might be a little different. But in general, they're probably not terribly different from other retail sections of other cities. So my thought would be that it's more the lack of parking lots and parking garages, the interesting office buildings, the lack of a freeway that make this area really exceptionally beautiful. I would encourage anyone to visit it. You would enjoy it, and maybe you'll enjoy it a little more because you watch this video and you'll understand what you're looking at.